Look forward to it. I said, look forward to it.
Good evening, citizens, and to council. Good evening to each of you. Welcome to our work session. Today is February the 2nd, and we are live on our city website. And also we're here at the Honorable Mary Jo Haywood Council Chamber here at City Hall. We're going to go ahead and get started with our work session for tonight. And at this time, could I get an approval of our agenda for tonight?
Motion to approve.
All right, it has been motioned and second. All those in favor, show of hands. All those opposed, same sign. All right, that motion has been carried. At this time, we're going to go into our speaker appearance for tonight, and we're going to have our engineer, Mr. Chad Griffin of Stillwater's engineer, and he's going to be discussing with us this evening the 2026 CBG project. And at this time, Mr. Chad, you can come on up.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time tonight. Hope everybody's doing well and staying warm. So I'll try to make a complex matter fairly simple and try to help everyone understand what our objective is for a CDBG project for this current year. Everyone's very aware that every year, or actually since you've become a Plan First community, that you can apply for a CDBG project every year. Since you have become Plan First. Previously, before being that, you had to do it every other year. So what these grants are, these are grants that are for about $1 million that would basically be for citizens to replace and fix infrastructure. And when looking at the city of Camilla, myself and our firm has done quite a few CDBG projects for the city of Camilla. I think in my time, I've probably done 10 of these. So been highly successful at getting these for the city of Camilla. We've always completed them on time. We've always completed them under budget, and they're great assets for the city of Camilla. So what we always try to do, though, is we try to figure out what the biggest need is for your community. And currently, just to let you all know, you've probably seen a little bit of information going around. You've seen some letters maybe circulating that talk about lead service line inventory. You've heard that buzzword. You've heard a lot about that. So to summarize, is the EPA has mandated communities that are public water systems to basically look at do an inventory on your system and determine how many galvanized or lead service pipes you have that are connected to your metering system, okay, in the city of Camilla. Our firm did an inventory for the city of Camilla that was completed in October of 2024. And just to kind of summarize the numbers and use not exact numbers, but I'm gonna get you real close. City of Camilla has over 3,000 services. Of those 3,000 services, over 2,000 were galvanized, requiring a replacement. And some were lead services as well. Just to let everybody know, we have already changed those services that are lead, so I don't want to get everybody hysterical. But the galvanized services, potentially, the galvanized material can absorb lead, and it can also have lead fittings associated with it, so they are a concern. So the objective now, since we have done your inventory, which by the way, we got $150,000 of grant funds for the city where you had to spend no money to do your inventory. We've done that inventory. We met the federal mandate to get that in by October of 2024. We've done that, and now we are in a time where the law states that we need to replace 10% of those 2,000 services every year for a period of 10 years to do that, to meet that law. So that would be over 200 services a year. You could do it in that manner, however, that's really stretching out something. And what we want to try to do is while funds are available, we would like to try to go after a CDBG project, to go after $1 million to replace more than 200 services. We'd like to replace as many as we can with $1 million. Just to let you know, if what we feel like is if there's 2,000 services, those services could cost up to $5,000 each. If you do the math on that, that's $10 million. Okay, so this is a first step. There are other steps that we're going to bring forward, city manager and council to you to help you try to get some other funds to replace. But the first and immediate step is a CDBG project for $1 million to try to replace these services. Does that make full sense?
And if y'all will recall, we introduced a sewer, which is typically what we do, a couple months ago, when we said, y'all said, okay, we'll apply for the CDBG, it was gonna be sewer. I was not aware that lead surface inventory is new this year.
So the replacement, when you do the inventory, you have to do the replacement. So these would be some of the first projects in the state of Georgia that would be available for doing lead service line replacement.
So we would be transitioning from that sewer project, which we can do CDBG since we are planning first every year. We'll be transitioning from doing a sewer project to doing this lead service project.
The great thing with this project is the overall health concerns we feel like are tremendous. We can prove that. We can prove that with some testing. And this is a citywide CDBG. So it wouldn't just be in one specific area. It could be all over the entire city. So your amount of beneficiaries that you would help on a project like this, whereas a typical CDBG project, we do a real specific area, and maybe we help 100 citizens in there, we would be helping tremendous amounts more. So we feel like it's a great opportunity. It's a great project to try to submit forward for the city of Camilla.
Will this be your first one that you submitted CDBG for?
This will be our first round to do it. We could not do this until we finished the inventory. So this has been the first opportunity to do it. So while funds are available, we feel like now's the opportunity, now's the time to do it. We need to do it while the iron's hot.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Could they be done for less than 5,000 each? Is that just your max cost?
So and it's a highly variable, that's a great question. It's a highly variable number. If a water main is in the road, we potentially would have to dig in the road, dig down on that service.
Depends on where it is.
Depends on where it is.
But all of them are in the road,
They're not all on the road.
so they're not all gonna cost that much.
That's right. So we're gonna bid it out every which way we can. So we're gonna take these dollars and go as far as we can take. So it won't be a lump sum price. No, ma'am. It will be individual. And
Jay, is this gonna be from the water main to the meter? Where is that what we're talking about?
So if we get these dollars, then we can go all the way to the base of the house.
So you can go to the house.
So the goal will be to take funds, not just to the meter, but all the way to the house, not in the house. Let me repeat, not in the house. We will go to the base of, we'll go to the base of the house.
And what will be the replacement? What are you gonna put in there?
A PVC or a PVC pipe or a HDPE pipe. Nothing galvanized, nothing. It's an opportunity to fix your water system, take away a health concern, take away all the leaks that I know that your public works and your utility department's fighting with on a normal basis, because these are the pipes that are all the problems because they're old, probably been around 40, 50 years. So PVC and HDPE.
So to break down Councilmember Palmer's point, reading y'all's report, there is that customer side and the city-owned utility side. So would this be an opportunity to replace both?
Yeah.
That for the customer and?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is for both. If the city was only using their funds, I'd say this, and there's laws, and I can send you those laws if you'd like to see them. But if you get federal dollars, and HUD, CDBG is HUD money, which is really a federal money that's administered on the state level. That yes, you need to do all the way to the house. If it was solely city funds, all you really would be required to do is to go to the meter.
And also, Chad, usually will all the piping be PVC?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will physically disconnect from the old service running, put a new tap, and then run to the meter, and then get on the backside of the meter and run from the meter to the house and make a connection. So all of it's PVC. Yes, sir.
Question, is this PVC gonna last as long as that galvanized tank?
Yes.
You're not gonna be around.
I know what the useful life is.
That's where I was going.
Yes, sir. I know what the useful life is, so, yes, sir. It should last a tremendous amount of time. The goal is if we can get grant funds on it and try to use those dollars effectively, so we're not using all of City of Camilla funds.
What would an average, I'm just thinking about $1 million, what would be your guess, an average?
Again, we're averaging 5,000,
That was an average?
yeah, 5,000 a service. And again, that's if you have to dig in a road. If you have to dig in a road, you got 6 inches of concrete back, 2 inches of asphalt. But if it's on the side of the road, I could see that service being $2,000. If you bid out a lot of them, maybe you get even less than that. I think some contractors are gearing up because they see a lot of this work coming. So I think we could get some competitive pricing. That's what we want to do, try to make it as competitive as we can. That's a great question.
The person was out there experience downtown experience water turn off and
No, sir, good question. No, we would do all the new work and then make the connection. And also we'd have put door knockers on people's basically doors, that we make sure that there was some coordination so they would know when we would swap a service over. And we would do that through city forces and some of our people that would be labeled, and you would know that you had a utility contractor on your property. That's a good question.
All right. Any other questions for Chad?
Well, while he's here, I'm gonna let him give an update on Fuller Street.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just want to let you know, Fuller Street's always been Fuller Street well is always something that I have wanted to do and fix and repair. And thankfully, we had money left over on the water line project. And when we had that money left over, we basically attacked that well, basically at a point where that your chemical feed building, that building that it was in was deteriorated, it was rotting. Everything was starting to break down. All the electrical in it was old. All your SCADA that was in it that controlled the well was old. The city had even pulled the pump that was in there. So you literally, all you had was a hole there, a casing. But that casing, when we tested it, that well could produce well over 700 to 1,000 gallons per minute. Okay. That is a very, very good well that produces tremendously clean water. And that asset is not something just to throw away. So the EPD notified us that we need to put a schedule together to repair it, and we have worked diligently to meet that schedule. So if you drive by that Fuller Street well, you'll see it's got basically new siding, new painting. It's got inside of it, it's got new electrical. We put a test pump in there over a week ago. That test pump pumped 700 gallons a minute for 30 straight hours, and the drawdown was only 4 inches. And what that means is that well is incredibly good producing well. We're going to put that well down in the existing static water level about 80 or 90 feet deep. When I say that is that we're doing that so we don't ever have to drop that well. That well should never drop below where we set that pump at. So that pump is now set up where it can pump to both of your tanks that are on that side of town. It gives some redundancy in a well that you have. You only had one well in that area already, so it gives you some redundancy. It's an asset that probably is worth $1.5 million, and we fixed it for about $250,000. So it's been a great project. I'm very, very proud of it. Glad we could do it.
And then lastly, just briefly, the pump rehab project we got.
Okay, pump station rehab. Yeah, so also we received money through a CWDRA project that was at 0% interest. And we identified every pump station in the city of Camilla, which was somewhere 19 pump stations, and we've redone 15 of them. So we put 15 new pumps in. We rewired those pumps. We put SCADA systems on those pumps so that we can communicate with them, so that city forces don't have to go out there all the time. Maybe they can save some overtime. I'm not going out there. They can look at the SCADA to see, make sure the pump station's running properly. That's going to help in emergency situations when we have hurricanes or anything like that. So that's in place. We put flow meters in at every one of those pump stations as well too. Those flow meters allow us to see if inflow and infiltration is coming into a specific area, so we can start to figure out if that area of the sewer system needs to be fixed. We can see what flow is coming through that station, and we never could do that before. All of that's tied to the SCADA system, where we can keep reports and chart it. So you got a very valuable asset that we've been able to do and replace, and just make your sewer system incredibly stronger. So that's been a good project as well too. Money very well spent.
I think we made a great investment by letting you go ahead and take care of that.
Thank you.
Chad,
Yes, sir.
question on the Perry Street, pump, is that, you got all that, what have y'all done on that on Perry Street?
On the Perry Street pump.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out the money, Mr. Palmer, is we've got a little bit of money left on this pump station project, and you have two needs right now. Is it okay for me? So you have two needs. You have a Tyson hatchery need, where you have some pumps that are undersized and a very small force main that's over there. So we need to put bigger pumps in or a new force main all the way down the state route for that Tyson, for that hatchery. So we either need to spend our extra dollars there, or we need to spend them on Perry Street. And I've heard that, and I do know this because I've worked for you for a long time, but y'all have some, I think, some SPLOST dollars or some T-SPLOST dollars, and y'all have some storm drainage money from fees that y'all, I think, receive. So I would say that the Perry Street pump project is better geared for those funds. T-SPLOST and that, because they're more in relation to storm drainage. I will tell you this, I dug through, me and Luke dug through every office here, and we found the old plans, which we thought were missing. So we can actually design that thing effectively to fix that pump where it doesn't keep locking up.
Is that the check valve, won't correct that?
Yeah, that's to keep all that debris from getting on that pump and causing it to lock up. Yeah, that's a good question.
What's Dennis, what's your best guess on fixing that on Perry Street?
It's just a matter of, y'all tell me to go on it.
You just spend a month or so there?
It takes a while to get a contract. That's a big enough project that we need to get bonds and all that together. So I say you're 2 or 3 months. I say you're 2 or 3 months on it before you could really move on it. And then you got to order a check valve, and this ain't one you just go pick up. It's a check valve on a 48-inch or a 16-inch pipe. So it's a big boy. Yeah. So
We got some flooding over there that we need to do it as quickly as we can.
yes, sir. So as soon as y'all tell me to go that route with the T-SPLOST dollars, then we'll do that. Yeah, I'm prepared and ready to do that. I was trying to get a lot further on in this pump station project in case y'all wanted to use those monies, because when you start doing 14 or 15 pump stations, you find out a lot of things wrong. So we've been able to get now closer to the end of that job, and I feel more secure in the money we have, left over.
Chad alluded to it earlier, but the plan first designation that we got in 2025, just hearing all of these infrastructure related things, just feels good to know that we have that.
Oh, yes, sir.
That frees up just these extra resources to fix things that we need and just take care of stuff that needs to be taken care of.
Plan First is great. It's also, you get a 1% reduction as well too on all your interest rates as well too. So those are great tools. Yes. Yep. That's money well spent also.
All right, we appreciate it. No other council have any other questions for Chad? All right. Thank you very much, Chad, and thank you for everything you do for this city, okay?
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you, guys.
All right, at this time, is there any speaker appearance at this time? You're more than welcome to come up for 3 minutes. Any speaker appearance for tonight?
Good evening. I'm sorry, Member District One, Columbia, Georgia. I see that on the agenda tonight, you'll have the senior citizens program. As you all know, for the past year, my organization, which I'm the director, Southwest Georgia Moving Forward Incorporated, and Columbia Senior Citizens on the Move, we have been doing things in the city. We're just asking that you consider partnering with our organization to help move this program forward. Thank you.
Any other speaker appearance at this time?
Now, speaking here, I just want to comment, Ms. Wendy, that we have seen the recent program that you have been putting on, and I just want to say thank you for taking care of our elders, our seniors. They look like they're enjoying themselves, and that's when I think about quality of life and the importance the value of our elderly, more seasoned people. I think about those types of things and how it moves them and their quality of life, how it sustains life, and just all of those connections as far as even health-wise. That is something tremendously. And it just, again, I see you have done an awesome job and have illustrated and have talked about it and expressed that you welcome all. Anyone is welcome. No one is turned down.
Amen.
No matter what color you are, no matter what gender you are welcome. So I just want to say thank you for taking care of our seniors in our community.
One more thing, and just to let y'all know, we are going on an outing tomorrow, so if there are any seniors who would like to join us, just let me know. Thank you.
Do we have any other speaker appearance at this time? Mr. Dixon.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Charlie Dixon. Just get asked a positive words. I'm not gonna complain about anything, not tonight anyway. I heard the gentleman, Mr. Chad Griffin. He mentioned that, we can get some extra money, and grants and stuff. For one reason. We are a plan first. And we didn't have that years ago. And I just thank God for past leadership that we had. And we was all working together, for some of us anyway. And that we attained that tile to make this city more progressive. And it is a visionary city, but at the moment, it's being put wing and cater to. And if we don't get on one accord, we're gonna find ourselves back where we were. We still dealing with a lot of people that have the same mentality that the people that brought us to Camilla Massacre. We got those same people here with that same mentality now. They don't want us to vote, don't want us to hold public office. But if we just stick together and not meet with the enemy. You got reading the scripture that John 10:10. It describes that a godly person, Jesus came to give us life and life more abundant. And that the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy. And a lot of us meet those characteristics. We got people in this city that meet the characteristics of the devil. But we go back to 1962. when they were killing, stealing, and destroying us. And it's still going on now on the table. So be careful when you meet with the enemy. That would happen to the Haitian. When they
You have
fought
30
the
seconds, Mr. Dixon.
We'll do it in 30 seconds. That would happen to the Haitian. They won that freedom and rights and had their country. But the enemy wanted to meet with the leader. Met with the leader, and to this day, that leader haven't seen ever since. So we gotta remember, you can't sit down and discuss nothing with the enemy. You know what the enemy are. By their characteristics, and what they do, and what they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Any other speaker appearance at this time? All right, hearing none, we're going to move right along on our agenda tonight. We're going to have a flock presentation by Captain Paul. You can come on up to the mic there.
How y'all doing? I got the presentation I sent out, y'all got it off the wall. And I added one slide. I was gonna hand it to you. Yes, sir. Okay. The Camilla Police Department's been able to utilize real-time intelligence to combat crime in our community through the installation of flock safety. The Camilla Police Department Public Safety Technology reporting period for June 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2025. The Camilla Police Department Public Safety Technology summary as follows. During the reporting period, the Camilla Police Department utilized public safety technology systems, including flock safety license plate readers, which is LPRs, and raving gunshot detection to support crime prevention efforts, enhance officer response, and improve overall public safety within the city of Camilla. Flock safety was actively used by 15 Camilla Police Department personnel with one additional user from the Georgia State Patrol. Allowing for improved coordination and information sharing between agencies, the raving gunshot detection system recorded 27 confirmed gunshot detection incidents within the city during this time frame. These alerts assisted officers in responding more quickly to potential violent incidents and results in 2 arrests during that time frame. The flock license plate reader system supported both investigative and traffic enforcement efforts. Between July and December 2025, LPR assisted activities contributed to 7 arrests, 33 written warnings in traffic, and 80 traffic citations. These outcomes demonstrates the system's effectiveness in identifying criminal activity, supporting investigations, and promoting traffic safety. Overall, the use of these technology systems enhanced the Camilla Police Department's ability to respond to incidents efficiently, collaborate with partner agencies, and maintain public safety for residents and visitors during the reporting period. The flock raving and gunshot detection activity during July the 1st of 2025 to January the 27th, 2026. Total alerts was 2,593. Of those, there was 158 total single gunshots alerts, 1,375 firework alerts, and a total multiple gunshot, that's where there's more than one gunshot, was 740. And they call it sideshow. That could be like a door slamming real loud or some material dropping or something like that. There was 19 of those. But other 740 multiple gunshots, it also is counting our firing range within the city. So some of that is us training throughout the year. And And I included a map where you can see, and you can see where the firing range is on the map. It's got the most green dots on it. So that's where it's concentrated at over there. The Flock LPR cameras can assist the city of Camilla by keeping a total number of vehicles that travel through the downtown area from US 19 as shown below the 24-hour period or a week period, or you can go down to an hour of how much traffic is coming off of 19, because we got cameras at each intersection here now. So just at the old Burger King there on January the 26th through the January 27th, from 5 in the afternoon to 5 p.m. the next day, at the entrance of Boulevard and 19 was 3,550 cars. So if y'all had an event or was having an event downtown, you need to deter traffic, you would know exactly what day it would be the best. If you need to do maintenance on that road, there's a scale that we can go by to tell you how many cars. It's more than one day than there is another, just to let y'all know that. So it's for more than just public safety stuff. The one I gave y'all, the extra slide, this one here is between January 26th and January 31st. You can see on those days, there was 45,780 cars that came through those intersections. That would be these Broad Street and Oakland Street. That's a lot of cars coming through downtown. Okay. Flock has been assisting the Camilla PD by sending an alert to on-duty officers. The alerts range from by topic as illustrated in the slideshow below. Time span of 12/7/2026 to January 25th, 2026. You had a total number of alerts, 7,879. Official hot list alerts, 6,826. That can be from anywhere in the country. That a missing child or missing elderly person, anything like that. The custom hot list alerts were 37. And then other custom hot list alerts on our network, 1,016. So the topics range from expire tag to suspended registration to sex offender. It'll notify us when a sex offender enters. If we have in trouble with a sex offender, it would let us know that they're here. Lets us know if there's anybody driving or owns a vehicle that has warrants. It would let us know that vehicle that person owns is here. It may not necessarily say that that's the driver, but it would tell us that's the person that owns the vehicle, and that vehicle's here. Stolen license plates, stolen vehicles, and violent, like a violent person that they had listed that's violent. They let us know that vehicle's in the area. Flock license plate readers, LPRs.
Can I ask a question
Okay.
before you go forward here? I pulled it up in color on the city website just to be sure. On January the 14th, there was just a really unusual number of expired.
We got new cameras. They're adding cameras up to the 9th of this month.
Okay,
So they just installed a bunch of new ones. So all of a sudden, boom, we're starting getting.
okay.
That-
All right, well, I
that's
just wondered
what
if
that
that might
is,
be,
yeah.
okay. All right, and I don't know if y'all can pull it up on your phone out there, but if you want to see what he's talking about, you can go to the city webpage and click, and you can follow along with exactly what he's telling us in color and everything. If you click on the link for the meeting tonight. But, thank you.
So, the cameras have been assisting Camilla Police Department drastically in drive-by shootings and violent crimes. Suspect vehicles have been identified within minutes of the incident when Flock was available in the area. Otherwise, most cases would likely go unsolved due to the lack of information from persons involved or witnesses. And I have an example on the slide next, and I'll go over it. The first week we had Flock, there's a case number there, and it's a drive-by shooting on North Butler Street. It was shots were fired into a house from a vehicle. Mother and her 14-year-old son were asleep in the bed when the bullets began coming into into the residence. So officers arrived in the area from Flock, nobody called. This was Flock that alerted us. The officers got there, it tells you a pinpoint location where that gun was fired at. And checking the area, they didn't have access to the Flock yet because it just started. So they called me at home, I got on my phone, looked, and checked the cameras, and there was only one vehicle in that area during that time. And the lady had a doorbell camera that had the vehicle description. So we checked the camera with the doorbell camera with a Flock photo, and they matched. So we were able to get a lead on the car. It was like 5 minutes maybe. The following day, using the Flock system in the Albany area, and with the assistance of partners at Albany PD, the suspect vehicle was located along with the driver who was involved in the shooting incident in Camilla. The next day, the shooter was identified with the assistance of Albany PD and Flock cameras. The Camilla PD and Albany PD were able to locate the suspect and make the arrest on that. Without that, nobody caught it, so that helped us. Had another case where Flock gave leads to investigations. This was one of my cases up in Jester Homes. Someone had shots fired, officers responded to the site location. Nobody was around, nobody was telling anything. The next day when I got to work, I went checking Camilla Housing Authority's cameras, the location where the pinpoint was on the firing of the gun, and there stood a man shooting a gun up in there. We identified him because we located what residence he came from, and they advised who it was, and we made an arrest on that, and it matched the picture on the camera, the person on the camera.
So someone's house got shot up, the 14-year-old in there, and they did not call Camille Kennedy for no assistance.
No, we were there before they.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
the Flock system detected, but my house got shot up with a 14-year-old child in there, and I don't call nobody for no help.
Now, like I said, we were there.
They got
Yeah,
there before they had a chance.
they made one call.
Understood the Flock
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
I was just curious that no one called, my house got shot with a 14-year-old. Then I went and get a phone call from public safety. It was just curious, you know.
All right, the next case was a violent crime over here on West Circle in the Housing Authority. A 76-year-old man was beaten in the head with a gun, with the butt of the gun. He didn't know who hit him, he just knew it was a man, and a woman was there, knocked him to the ground, hit him from behind when he got out of the truck. And when he fell to the ground, he turns over, looks up, the man's in his face with a gun, but he's disoriented, he's bleeding from the head. He was taken to the ER, treated, and during that time, we were able to access a live view camera that we have on Palmer Street. For the time we followed his vehicle, saw another vehicle following him. When he parked, he was out of view at that time. So when that vehicle pulled up and he had time to get out of the car, they got out and did what they did. Whenever they turned around to go back up West Circle, the LPR camera got on that intersection because he lives right there close to the intersection of West Circle and North Butler. So we were able to put the timeline together with the tag and the vehicle description, and one of the officers knew whose car that was. We didn't have to run it, but we did to verify it's the same person, and we made 2 arrests out of that case. And nobody told us anything. There was people outside. So without that, we wouldn't have been able to make those arrests, those leads. So, I got a place here where the installation of the cameras are. And then I got a pending install. And there's 6 cameras that are being installed, between now and February 9th. And that'll be US 19 at South MacArthur Drive. Got one at South Boulevard Street at Bangers Road. That'll catch Bangers and Cairo Highway. Highway 19 north at Tyson coming into the city. Highway 37 west of the city limits, eastbound, and US 19 at McCoffrey Drive, southbound, and Highway 37 at the city limits, westbound.
Now, Mike, the camera right there on, I think it's, Camilla Pelham Highway right there in Goodson Road is, I think
Right.
have that one been repaired?
Yes, yes, it was repaired, and I believe they put a barrier, it may not be up yet. Okay, they're gonna put a, I think there was some discussion about a barrier around it to protect it, because it's what
Somebody
sticks out,
accident.
that area right there. And we believe that was a drunk driver that did that, it wasn't intentional or anything.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is there any other questions from Captain Mike?
I'll go first. Definitely just appreciate y'all for taking the time, and I appreciate this board for getting this together. I did indeed ask for it. I guess kind of the first data sets that I super appreciate is that total vehicle volume number that you threw out. And I think it's just important for context. We just kind of touched on it. When you think about the T-Splosh and the opportunity for more income that will be, and it's proven right now, that is coming through this community.
Right.
This is just awesome to know and awesome to help us plan. I think then just kind of going into some of the other data sets for the gunshot detecting. I know when this was introduced, this was really hard on for violent crime prevention and stopping violent crime. But what I'm seeing is a lot of just everyday lay traffic citations as being the highest count, with only, and you can confirm it, but you said there's only 2 arrests for some more violent or gun
There's
related.
been several, that was just the examples that I had right here. There's been, it helps us every day with leads and stuff.
Gotcha. So again, just really wanting to zero in on those numbers and lean in for if y'all see additional support where it's needed. I know we have included in this year's budget money for violence prevention. So I know when this council does get to the point where we can approve about 11 outstanding board appointments that we still have to make, I hope we can get to a point where we can discuss ways to really tap into that violence prevention funding that we've already allocated in this budget as well. too.
I know in the future, we've talked about having some more cameras, in the neighborhoods, because sometimes they do go into the neighborhood, and then that way you know the timeframe when a certain vehicle went in there, and the crime was committed. I know we talked about that before, and that would be something that we would want, that would help us. But what we have now is definitely helping us. So we appreciate that.
And public housing is also come on board with some block cameras putting in there, which they are tied in with ours as well. We're able to get information off theirs. But I tell you, the rating system really helps. I mean, it puts us within 50 feet where the actual gunshot took place. And we can be there within a lot of times before anybody can call.
All right. All right, thank you, Captain Hall. Thank you, Chief, for your input as well, and we appreciate everything you're doing for the city as well. Thank you. All right. All right, we're gonna move right along on our agenda tonight, and we're gonna go into our discussion items. And our first discussion item is going to be dilapidated properties. As you already seen at your station, I did give you a list of the different properties that are dilapidated and poor properties. My main focus tonight is going to be on dilapidated properties. And dilapidated property often serve as a vision or blur on your neighborhoods, which can contribute to a sense of neglect and decline. They can also decrease your property value and deter potential buyers to invest in your neighborhood and your area. Now, such properties may also attract crime and increase safety concerns, which foster the environment where communities or where cohesiveness is weak. And at this point here, what I want council to do, and this is a discussion, the list that I gave you all is a list that was listed back in 2022. And there is still some progress that needs to be done on these dilapidated homes. And my question is, do the city have any policy in place for these dilapidated housing properties?
Just a very quick response to that. I thought it was my understanding that these projects were housed within the Urban Development Agency, and that served as essentially a policy document on how we were going to begin to tackle these dilapidated properties on the list. And as you mentioned, progress had been complete. There are several of them that have been done. Process was moving through that entity. How will we move those forward since $1 million has since been defunded from that, and that money was earmarked for demolition projects. So I guess the response to what is the policy document, I think we created that, and we outsourced this to the URA.
I don't recall a policy being done.
I'm not aware of a policy, there is a process and
Getting it
that's
done.
something to speak is pretty in depth to get these
Yeah.
properties in a state where we can get a bank. But it can occur, I mean, if it does occur, it can be lengthy if it's error.
Yeah.
And I think it's just more of what Councilman Boyd was getting to. The sole foundation of the URA was for what? It was built on what foundation for the URA? URA was designed just for those types of things. Redevelopment, blatant property. That's what the URA was all about. But yet, if I can recall, November, there may have been a schedule conflict where the URA could not meet. December, we remember that the URA was defunded. But yet we come today talking about dilapidated property. It's time out for talking points. Because this could have been taken care of when we sit around this table and call things and we choose to sit back and not say anything when we know the reason why these things exist and what policy we have in place. This is not by circumstance that these things coming back around and that we don't know about these things. We sit on the board and we know this is what it is designed for. But we're going to come here and play in the citizen face that we don't know why, or we don't have a policy. We have a policy. The urban redevelopment was primarily sourced out just for those things. But we choose not to utilize it in a way that it was done. And we come here in December, just before we get ready to leave out, and defund the URA. But now we're here talking about how we're going to take care of these issues. There was a funding source. But you chose to defund it. You got to make it make sense. Stop playing these games. I hear that.
Go ahead.
Could you please, tell me the difference between D and P, where it says it's, the code is DP, what does that mean?
D is for dilapidated and P is for poor.
Okay, so the worst is a D,
Yes.
okay, all right. I'm assuming that Quad is this area of town that it's in,
Mm-hmm.
and owner or heir property, one owner or
Air property.
like,
Multiple owners.
okay, all right. So it seems to me that you're just asking us, you're providing us with information, and perhaps between now and the next meeting, we investigate, is there something that you would like for us to maybe look and see if we have suggestions?
Well, if you look at you're right about that with for a suggestion, but if you look at it, you look at some of the steps here. We have 10 steps on this spreadsheet. And some of these steps on the spreadsheet has kind of like ceased. And just need some updates on what we're going to do and what policy we do have in place, because I haven't seen a policy. And what I'm asking this council is for us to discuss and find out so that we can put policy in place so that we can get a lot of these dilapidated homes taken down.
Well, according to this, it's there. There's a step, there's 10 steps.
Yeah, there are 10
So,
steps.
right, so,
We'll stop.
so
If
we
you
need to
could-
get back on.
Yeah, we need to get back on the ball.
We have an entity, that does exactly that. And I believe, if you wanna look it up, since, a lot of us are scholars around here, we wanna look up things, if you just go to resolution for the urban redevelopment, it outlines it. The City of Camilla, Georgia, resolution number 2023-06-12-2 is a resolution for the establishment of the URA. And in that resolution, it established what is in context and all the things that it's designed to do. But I understand we have to meet in order for these things to take place. Because we can be stagnant and be like some of the other, entities and boards and just sit there idle. Or we can choose to do some work. And to do the work, we know they take funding instead of defunding.
On that same notion, Vice Chairman, do you know when the next meeting will be for the URA?
I don't know. The chairman hadn't set up a meeting date yet. We don't know.
And then, are there any processes to have a call meeting for that group?
I'm unaware of it.
I'm just asking, because I do want to make the motion tonight, this is possible in this section, for this item, means for plan, that motion would be to refund the URA, the $1 million that was defunded, and give that money back to the URA, because again, this is the process that we could begin to work and continue to work, removing this blight from the community. And we would not be duplicating resources or processes to do so.
And to be exact, I think Luke probably can speak to it. Do we have the capacity of staff to do these things? And when we have the staff that is taking care of the cemetery, but they couldn't take care of the cemetery because URA were doing the cemetery. But now URA been defunded, so is the cemetery being taken care of?
Yeah.
It was a big help to, I think you can speak to, it was a big help to you when the URA took over the cemetery.
That was a big help.
A big help.
But they're still working.
But they can't do that work
They're
because
still
they're
there.
defunded.
If they're still there, they've got paid.
For how long though?
So that's what you
For the
can.
year.
For the year, but after that, they gone because there is no fund for the URA.
There is funds. Okay, let's not get it twisted. There are funds. Okay.
We look forward to seeing it. And a meeting.
Okay, you made a motion?
Yes, sir.
Second.
That's proper protocol, 9:30. We're on the dilapidated property item.
And you're, motioning to
He's motioning to,
instruct the URA to move forward with this motion?
no, to, give back, the $1 million.
And I'm positive because it sounds like two different types of actions in one, because obviously we're talking about
Dilapidated homes.
properties. So maybe if, maybe adding that to the agenda as a motion, unless you're gonna directly say that you want the URA to, work on the and that, add funding to $1 million. So it's because we have agenda items, I think you should make it clear and
have separate actions for SF items.
Absolutely. So that motion, will be to refund the URA, $4 million, to complete its intended project as outlined, in resolution, I think it was 10/6/2023, which is the resolution that created, URA, which includes, the process of ridding communities of light, and dilapidated properties. Need a second.
Second motion. Okay. At this time, roll call vote. It has been second, and Madam Clerk, we can do a roll call vote on that. I mean, on the scene about doing that.
Mayor Pro Tem Barlow,
I abstain from that vote, conflict of interest.
Mr. Conklin.
Councilmember Breen, Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Pollard,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
So that, vote doesn't go anywhere. All right, back to our discussion there. Yeah, go ahead, Madam
What
Attorney.
I will say is, and I know we've seen this, implemented in cities, across Georgia. If the city does not have, a nuisance or a light ordinance of some sort, maybe that's something that can be implemented in the URA and or the city can, lean on it in order to achieve, the measures that are set forth in the Dilapidated Properties Initiative. So the city might want to, again, if the city doesn't already have an existing ordinance, or if you're leaning on state, nuisance laws, maybe cater ordinance for the city of Camilla where you can, that kind of outlines the nuisance abatement process as well as, a process maybe for blighted properties. And that can be used by any.
That's in the code section.
Okay, y'all, you have one, okay. Well, then, yeah, that's something.
And then back in November when I reached out to you, because I had identified one just to get started, because we have like, I think 20,000 budgeted, and that's what I might be down on it too.
Yeah.
You said Title 21, we can operate under it.
Yeah, I believe that you all can use state law, but a lot of cities, like you said, if the city has like a nuance policy for itself, you can also do that. And then the difference again is the nuisance abatement will identify the nuisance, it will go to municipal court, it will be declared a nuisance and, funding will be set aside to either demolish it or, fix it or, renovate it. And that would be the nuisance abatement process. There is a process that some cities use, called a blighted ordinance process, where essentially, you have property owners and you identify their properties as blight. And once they're identified as blight, their property taxes are essentially raised until they fix the blight. And then once they fix the blight, their property taxes go below, the standard. So they get that relief one, but it, again, it's an incentive to either get property owners to fix their properties and get them out of a state of blight, or the city take over and completely demolish the property or renovate it, so.
Ms. Boyd, as I recall, there is a procedure to do that because it's been done in the past. So there should be a procedure that outlines that, and it's been done, so that should be on the record.
This is a total of 44 properties on this list, and, if there are others, we need to bring this to the attention of the city manager.
Yes.
So I just want to be clear that we bring these issues to the table, and as policymakers, we're looking for a city manager, city attorney to do the policy work for us. That's kind of backwards to me. That is the job of this council. But are we serious about moving this? That was just a motion. Some abstained and some said no. But they're serious about dilapidated property. I can get that.
Okay, we're gonna move forward, council, we're just gonna, keep the discussion and we'll do a little more investigating on this, and we'll move forward with that, with the advice of our attorney, and our city manager, okay? All right, we're gonna move down to our next agenda item tonight, and this is our senior citizen program. And council, as you know, before, as we move forward with the senior funding of the senior citizen program, I believe it is very, very important that we kind of revisit this from a policy standpoint. The city of Camilla has a lot of public funding for this program, but we currently do not have a formal policy in place on the outline of how the program is supposed to be operated, maintained, and administrated. Now, I would like for this council to consider adopting a city senior citizen program policy that clearly defines the program standards, oversight, and expectations, so that any individual, organization, or contractor involved is operating on the city established guidelines. And once again, you may ask, why would we need a policy, and why the policy matter? Well, a formal policy ensures consistencies, accountability, and transparency, and it also protects the city by making sure public funds are used accordingly to standards approved by the council, regardless of who is hired or contracted to carry out the work. And this policy will also establish the city's expectations on how the senior citizen program is operated and how public funds are administrated. Now, on our last conversation we had with this council, we kind of like asked that our city manager kind of look into some different avenues of different programs. And at this time, city attorney, could we get any updates on that? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I reached out to some sister cities, and some offered it, some didn't. In the city of Valdosta, which is inclusive of Lowndes County, they go through their Lowndes County Parks and Recreation Authority to the senior citizens. I mean, they offer quite a bit of stuff. The city of Bainbridge, as well as Decatur County, go through their recreational authority to offer senior citizens programs. The city of Cairo does not offer anything. However, Grady County offers a designated time during pool season that reserved specifically for the senior citizens. Thomasville, Thomas County, they partner with the YMCA. They provide a stipend. Well, the city of Thomasville does. Thomas County, I'm not sure. The city of Thomasville provides a stipend to the YMCA to provide all of the senior citizen activities over there. Albany does, but she never got back with me to tell me exactly what they offered. And I think it's gonna be offered by the city of Albany. Daugherty County doesn't do anything. City of Donaldsonville does not offer anything for their senior citizens. Seminole County partners with the Seminole County Family Connection to offer senior citizen activities. The city of Colquitt does not offer anything to their senior citizens. However, Miller County provides the building and I think some funding to host their senior citizen program.
Okay, all right, thank you. And council, as you see at your dais, I did give you a sermon of how this program is designed and what we're looking for within the city. And I have given the attorney a copy of what our policy could look like, and it will give us a program overview, program goals, program schedules and structures and also a program format, the program activities, health and wellness components, and also staffing oversight, which will be a program coordinator that it will be part-time, and also even including volunteers. And also have a budget allocated, which is our annual budget of $40,000, and also reporting and accountability. And also compliance at risk and management and the program impact. And the program impact will provide a consistent, safe, and enrichment environment for seniors residents while responsible stewarding public funding. Focusing on wellness, engagement, sustainability. The program supports seniors in remaining active, connected, and informed with members of our community. So I gave this to our attorney so that she could look it over. And if we can, we would like to kind of get this policy approved so that we would have some type of leeway in going forward with our senior program.
Would we need to put this as an action item for next week? Or do you want to have?
Upon the approval of our attorney, just to look over to make sure that everything is fine. But I would like to have this as an action item for us approving this policy.
I would like to make a motion to have this as an action item for next week's agenda.
Well, I just need three hand votes to make it be an action item upon the request of the approval of our attorney.
We're gonna have some discussion first.
Yeah, we can have some discussions.
I'm sorry.
But I'll defer to the city attorney first, and just the regular.
So, I think the Mayor Tim again drafted this program. So my part in it more so would be if I see any legal issues, but I think you all should have kind of a discussion about the need of what the program entails. So I'll leave that to city council.
Gotcha. And if I recall, that's what we worked in the process. We were all sending stuff in, and the document was being produced, and this is that document. Okay. And then after a quick scan, because we did just get this, I don't think this was in the packet, is the intent to still contract, be as a contractor, or have a contractor, or are we gonna be running this department within the city?
We'll be running within the city, and it'll be with whatever desire the city manager acts to, to do.
So I just want to make sure and make clear. A $40,000 budget. We would rather pay someone to oversee as a staff member. That means liability, that means insurance, that means all those things that we have to hire someone on staff to do this.
That will be up to the city manager.
Up to the city manager don't make policy.
No, before it's hired.
This
It's
is
contracted, it's
policy
stated that it's
document.
part-time.
So contracted versus hiring staff. It's two different things. This is hiring staff. So we're gonna hire someone, again, liability, insurance, having to have the,
I'm not sure if you have to provide all that for a part-time employee.
Still got it on board though.
you still gotta onboard it. You still gotta go through human resources. It's still gonna cost dollars.
I understand that, but I don't think.
And it's $40,000 already earmarked for just this. But we're proposing $18,000 to hire someone out of the $40,000. Is that very much for the citizen, for the seniors? But versus going to a contractual where there's multiple ideas, there is no legal standard for the city, but it's all on that contract, that person that we contract in that business or organization that would like to do these things. And we have had someone come before us tonight and speak on parents that does just that, got their own business, been running, staff to do it.
So are you proposing changes?
So
But-
I am proposing, and I have one, a better program for you,
Okay.
already that I want to pass out to you, so that you may look at this program.
In the
Make a
policy, that you are, well, in the, plan that you do have, it said either contract, independent contractor or staff. So it go either or.
Here's one that I would like to, for you to look over, a program, that this is very much contract. You pass, take one and pass around and like, so. Consider this agreement. A senior citizen agreement, policy making. If you don't have enough, I can get you another one. Councilman,
Whatever
you got it?
exactly in there.
Okay, so it clears outline the program. A senior citizen service and engagement program. Policy, contractual agreement, and program handbook. It outlines the purpose, the eligibility, the program service, the minimum program activity requirements, the annual budget and fiscal oversight, the participant rights and responsibility, the code of conduct, the health, safety, and liability waivers, transportation policy, confidentiality, termination and admins, and add-on policies and forms. This is what making policy look like from a council member standpoint, and not leaning on city attorney, city manager to do your work. This is what it looked like. But this is a program that outlines this is a program initiative that I put for you tonight that outlines all those things that we probably want to see. At least one wellness or educational event shall be conducted monthly. At least one local community events or islands shall be conducted monthly. At least one non-local or regional event or island shall be conducted monthly, subject to funding and logistics. Additional activities may be scheduled based on participant interest and resource available. $40,000 have already been earmarked. And that is beginning in the fiscal year of each year that this $40,000 is budgeted. So we're already late in the game with our seniors, taking care of our seniors. 5 months have passed us and we haven't done exactly nothing with the $40,000. Are we still looking for headlines? Are we serious about taking care of our people? My first day back here, I told you that I am serious about our seniors. Don't play games with seniors. That's the least you can do. Because I know that I have a grandmother, I have a mother, I have a father, I have aunts. They have contributed much to the city of Camilla. They're backbones of city of Camilla. And here we don't want to play games. It ain't hard. All it takes for our city attorney is just to make the resolution, just put the legal term to it. But you got a program outlined right here, one that we have struggled with for months. It didn't take me but a couple of days to put it together. That's all it took me. A couple of days to put this policy together. But 5 months have passed this council. And you still haven't seen anything yet.
So what I'm going to propose, Councilman Pollock, is we're gonna let the city attorney get both of these drafts and let you review it. And we put it in a resolutional form, a policy, and we'll go from there. We're not gonna go back and forth with the policy, okay? Are you
Yeah, I'm okay with that, and I just want to, I mean, if there are any, conflicts, how, does the council wanna, and when I say conflicts, maybe one policy discusses, once a month with other people.
Yeah, the other one's
Discussion
maybe
meetings twice a
twice.
month. So, I would ask that, if you all can discuss that now, or maybe if not, we'll have to come back and discuss it, but.
Yeah, the first policy, they're gonna meet twice a month. And then this policy here says what, once a month?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Twice a month.
There's different, program schedule and structure of this policy here. It shows that it's gonna be, twice a month on the second and fourth Monday.
Events or something, you said? Is that what you're
No,
talking
just meeting, getting them together, doing some type of activities.
about? So you're talking about program activities?
the program council would possibly need once or
Twice.
So what we said,
That's what
we
we're-
all said it twice.
Twice.
I think the larger picture is about contractual staff.
I agree.
So back to that question, cause
And I would definitely say contractual. I definitely wouldn't say add staff member.
I also, with this notion of meeting twice, this is some of the X's I put on this first draft we got. I feel like that's just too limiting, to this program, especially as we harp back on being a contractual, agreement, especially looking at what the seniors have already been exposed to. I'm not in agreement on that type of limiting, language, especially this language you hear about no offsite events. And I have to do this, in this moment. Mayor Pro Tem, Chairman, this is the second time, that in my opinion, I feel like you are attempting to silence voices. I don't think that is appropriate, in this manner. You mentioned, a little more back and forth discussion. We just can't do that. In order to have very honest and spirited debate, we cannot silence voices. And as a elected legislator, I'm just leading a warning, like that is not helpful at all to the public. We're having people come into these meetings, a few meetings ago, it was almost a limitation of public speaking, and now we're inching on limiting the voices of very people that have been elected to carry a voice for folks. That is not okay. So I'll deal with that. I truly do not want to do that.
Well, I'm not silencing anyone. We just wanted to, get the policy. We hear what you're saying. We heard it on both sides. So we just want to move forward with the policy so that we can go ahead and get it started. That's all. Not silencing no one.
I think we could put the wording a minimum of twice a month, and then you're not limited. I think it goes back to Mr. Pollard's point of contractual versus employee. And I think that'll be our decision to decide Monday next week when we vote.
I think that's what you decided now.
Well,
I mean, I don't think Madam Attorney can do anything, and she's simply telling you that we gotta make that clear tonight. That whether we're gonna do contractual, or we're gonna do something in staff, because she can't write up legal terms if she don't know that. And so what I'm saying is to you, this council, again, as my fellow colleagues have said, are we in predicament of limiting and telling the people what they can do and what they cannot do? Or give them options? It's not hard, people.
it is not.
So let's stop playing these headline games. These are real people. And it's not to make Mayor Pro Tem look this way or that way. Yeah, I certainly see his proposal as we got tonight. Same one I gave you tonight as well. But mine just outlines a little bit more in details exactly what we're looking for, or what I have heard you all talk about.
All right, well, I just have a couple of questions on the difference between the two. And I think Ms. Ford, you might get an answer, but I don't know. So if we did it on a contractual basis, then basically we just are writing a check, and that's it. And then overseeing,
Long as that
Actually, I
person-
was president, and I don't know if that would be the desire of the council to continue that. practice.
Yes,
and,
as long as
and
that
then
person
the
meets the
other
requirements.
option would be as a city employee,
Household,
well, again, well, you gotta hire somebody either way.
staff.
Somebody has to be hired, either way, whether you're contracted or whether it's a staff. So I'm just trying to look at the difference in that, that's what I'm asking about. So, again, on the contractual basis, we are limited in oversight, Madam Attorney, is that correct? And then as far as cost goes, if they're a part-time employee, what will be required as far as, from the city's side, other than on the contract basis, here's your money, do what you want with it? I guess I'm asking, will the benefits be decided by the hirer?
Well, I mean, we have part-time and part-time plus positions. I don't have to get the breakdown for you, so you would know. I don't know if you're talking about 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month.
Right.
But what I do see here is you got a program coordinator that's listed as part-time with a salary of $18,000. But then you got, back here on the second page, you got. a contracted
Subcontracting, right,
instructor,
yeah,
So that's another 8,000.
I got you.
Okay, so I guess what's left from that is what you actually administer for the program.
Correct. But my question is it gonna cost the city more than the $18,000?
So a big part of that, if it's above 30 hours that fall into the part-time category. And then above 30, we would also give them insurance. Under 30, they wouldn't fall under insurance.
Okay,
And also-
that's a big cost.
With a city of employee, it would also have the city's liability.
Exactly. And now you're talking about, when you put all those budget sources together, you're talking about $16,000 now.
Addition.
No, I mean, that's additional to what you're talking about, but as it stands as a $40,000 budget, you only get the city still $16,000 after you did all this.
That's why.
Is the time commitment here worth, I mean, up to 20 or 30 hours?
Why would you want that?
Yeah, so maybe less than
I don't think it'd be.
10 hours.
No,
No,
you do it a month.
Yeah, so we're, so we're not even.
Again, that's where we go back to contractual. That's what we have already been doing. This is not nothing new. This is not nothing to be pumping our heads about. All we gotta do is put it, the policy have been created, because we already know these things have been going on. So the policy now have been created for so long, the only thing you hear that we ain't have no policy. Well, now you have policy.
Now we have one.
And I think a little bit of the distinction too is, because I see in your proposal, Councilwoman, Howard, you have the whole $40,000 going towards the contractor.
Yes.
I know in the Mayor Pro Tem's proposal, he's maybe proposing to pay the contractor just for their time, and then the city, maybe take on the cost of supplies, workshops and marketing. So I think there's a little bit of a difference there. Are you all wanting to give the contractor just the whole 40,000 and say, go forth and conquer, or do you want to, give them a portion of it and then keep kind of track of the supplies and other things?
Exactly what they've been doing, submitting these proposals to the city manager. How much it's gonna cost us to do this? At one point, they were bringing receipts back, invoices. And this is how much this costs, this is how much, but there is $40,000 to do it. But I also want to step forward to outline what is the minimum program activity requirements. These things must happen. But it can be broken down, as I think it was already breaking down, that $40,000, how we originally got there was over the 52 weeks, somehow at a range of, it was, that's how we got to the $40,000. It was 52, we divided by 52 weeks. That's how that budget came about. I think some was around this table when that was actual talked about and allocated, for the $40,000.
And then the councilman Pollard's proposal also, in item 5, it does break down more on that cost. It reported is just budget for the program. It's limited to, I'm reading this right. Administered using an average weekly operating budget of approximately $769.23 per week.
So I think the difference is, do you all want to move forward with, like you said, giving the contract with that whole amount? And then that's paid in weekly installments, and then they can make a decision on how that money is spent. Or do you want to, and I was just talking to city manager, Ford, she was saying that I think in the past, you all have contractors have come to you and submitted receipts and said, hey, we wanna, do this Valentine's Day program, it's gonna cost $2,000, here's the receipt for it. Do you wanna just take care of the cost up front of the contractor's time, and then as programs go on, then have them submit money? And I think doing it, that way, we could probably, the city can keep an eye on what's being spent, and you can kind of know what's coming out, versus just writing a blank check. Not saying that you couldn't, we could also put into the contractor, contract that they provide reporting, and they have to show a reconciliation of what they spend the money on. So it's not that you couldn't see what they spend the money on, but I think in the past, it was event by event, and then that way, the city kept a hold of the remainder of the $40,000.
It's all covered,
Yeah.
I got it all covered.
Madam Attorney, I think, you have laid it out where it should be, because any, agreement that's using the city of Camilla name needs to be controlled and managed by the city of Camilla, not expose themselves to a liability that could be very extensive. So this needs to be a part-time employee. The city needs to be able to have their hands on what's going on with the money, what to do, and who's doing it. That's the only way to do this, to stay out of liability territory.
Yeah, I understand. I believe that, yeah, and it didn't surprise me that that would be your answer, but however, it's the same position we're in when we're talking about, our chief financial officer, when she's sitting here telling you that she needs more help and staff just not here. That's the same issue versus just issuing it out. Contractual, what we've been doing. Now you see here trying to put your head on it and govern it how you want to govern it. Make it make sense, people. Y'all kill me with these headlines for the paper.
To me, it's no different than the years-long contracts we had with the Camilla Chamber. There were no questions about that, so I think that they're happy to.
Yeah, so I mean, that's different. So I mean, well, however, I think you all need to at least come to some type of consensus, because I hear again arguments on both sides.
It's not your job, it's all
Yeah,
your responsibility.
the kind of side.
And I propose to you, one that covers all that outlines all that. So are we serious about moving forward? Let's adopt it. Let's give the Madam Attorney the rightful duty right now to go ahead and make sure she write this legal term and put this resolution in place. Do I need to make a motion on it, or what? A motion to adopt my senior citizen service and agreement program contractual program handbook.
And I think both have some really good
Good
points.
point,
So I think we just collaborate and, you know, kind of pull some ideas from,
I think we need.
that's my opinion. But, I think the biggest point right now is how the money is gonna be structured. I think that's what we're at, so.
So in other words, if the majority of this council want to go with contractor, we can go that route. If they want to go with hiring someone to do that, we need to vote on that, right?
Just a vote on it. And I think I'll also add that even, your program is I mean, the $18,000, and you said this already, could be used for a contractor.
Yes.
So it could be, both could be a contractor based. It's just about where you're spending, how you're spending the supplies and other funds.
The annual budget and fiscal oversight have been outlined in the budget that I gave you. And the other one, it is not outlined, so it does not outline that.
She have the policy. It's all outlined.
There's a budget in this.
Yeah. Budget are allocated. So this, the policy that I gave you. So,
We see here, we're gonna get $18,000 of, like, a staff member to do it, plus other, on the back end, other finances and fees that will be added, and we citizen, the senior citizen with $16,000. I just wanna know what staff member is gonna do all that.
We can give it to a contractor.
A contractor for $18,000, and she don't have very much to work with. And this is what we from year to year. A whole year. $16,000.
The councilman does have a motion still on the floor, and I'm gonna second that, the essence of time, to adopt the City of Camilla, Senior Citizens Services Agreement, necessary amendments from the city attorney.
Can I make a substitute motion? Is this the time to do that?
go ahead.
My substitute motion would be to adopt Mr. Pollard's plan, but in number 5, to use the budget breakdown from the plan, which would include the coordinator, supplies, instructors, and marketing and printing that would give the city some oversight there.
Second.
Okay, it has been, first we'll go with the,
You want to hire a program coordinator for $18,000.
I would like to take the budget breakdown from the first proposal,
We hire someone at $18,000.
use it, and that would be their contracted fee. And then the remaining amount could be spent on programs. With, of course, the, minimum meeting of twice per month, stipulation, which is listed, I believe, in number 4.
you got that, Madam Clerk?
So, twice a month, $18,000 for the contractor with the city.
The budget breakdown for Plan 1
Right.
in number 5.
All right, that motion has been motioned and second.
Roll call vote.
Do a roll call vote for that,
This is a substitute.
for the substitute motion.
I'm not sure who needed to amend the agenda for this. Because this was not on the agenda. I think it was.
We're running the senior citizen program, so it's there.
As a discussion,
Yes, it's discussion.
but now we'll take action. Go ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem Burley,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
No,
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Pollard,
No,
Councilman Palmer.
Yes.
All right, that motion did pass. We go back to our first motion, and Councilman Morgan, could you state that? No, that's it. That motion, your motion died, so that other substitute motion did pass. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, council, for that. We're going to move right along on the agenda for tonight, and we're going to go to our Severe Weather Center, and this will be handled by Councilwoman Ferrer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We have talked about this at least 3 times since I joined the council in November of 2024. And every time there's a weather event, we talk about it. So, my question is, are you ready to do something? I hope so. I have got some ideas that hopefully we can perhaps put into policy, very soon. I too have a handout, let's see if I can get them for everybody, I'm sorry. And while they're going around the room, I'll be as quick as I can. We want to provide a safe place during a weather emergency. The wind is, and all of these are debatable. All right, this is just ideas. My suggestion, if the governor declares a state of emergency, or we as a council deem necessary. My suggested place for this is the Resource Center on Perry Street, which is a polling place for District 2 citizens in a municipal election. It's a large building. I looked up the state requirements. You have to have, of course, heating and cooling. The only question I might have is in the event of super severe weather, like a tornado or something, is there a generator? I don't know. That's just a question that I thought of. But you have to have heating and cooling. Bathroom, smoke detector, handicapped access. There has to be enough room for individuals to, and the wording was have their own space. And then there needs to be safe usage of electrical outlets. So those are the basic requirements according to the state. There are some recommendations, 1,000 feet from a school. I don't know if Head Start is considered a school, but that is only a recommendation. I know that it's less than 1,000 feet from there. Of course, they recommend a first aid kit, some sort of books, cards, games, something along those lines. Staff, I was thinking perhaps 2 city staff and 1 police. Police might have to be available. I don't think we're going to have one there all the time, but it is a suggestion. Would it be available as far as who to Camilla residents, or would we open it up to Mitchell County as well? There would need to be some sort of security screening when you come in the door, so we check for weapons or drugs. There would also need to be a sobriety check, and that could of course be visible. And I don't know what type of health protocols, of course. The suggestion on the state website was, haven't had a TB test within a week, but I think that's a bit too much. But again, those are my suggestions. And I yield the floor.
In response to your location, Mr. Green, I think a better location there, since that is, I think the Boys and Girls Club do use part of that building. The Dixon building that was purchased by the city over 2 years ago downtown that hasn't been used.
37 Carl.
It's sitting there vacant, and it does have handicap ramp, and as far as I know, central heating and air in there. And it's street level, right in the middle of town.
Is it 37 Carl?
37 Carl.
I'm certainly willing to change that location if council's in agreement.
We appreciate, and I know the public can appreciate the work on this, Councilwoman. Again, I think this is a document that we already have that exists. And unfortunately, I do wish that this council would stop being reactive, where I think it was last month, we had an opportunity to discuss this and also take action, because we had pending notices and awareness of this strong winter front that was well on its way. We had an opportunity to also take care of residents and apply a utility bill credit where folks have had to run their heat for the past couple of weeks, and will be receiving a probably likely higher utility bill. And we had a council member reporting, I don't know where he was getting his weather data from, but he was mentioning false data up here at the Davis. Just again, this is again an opportunity for us to just stop being reactive. We have a policy. This was implemented well into 2024. The issue that I think you're identifying, Councilwoman, in your proposal is staffing. This is where we decided to partner with our local churches in this community and offer reimbursements and had a budget for inclement weather stations in this community. The things that council members are bringing up in for headlines already exist today. The issue that we've been having, and I hope that the community that is here and that is watching is really tapping into our faith-based institutions in this community and other nonprofit entities that could step up and fill this gap with the existing contract that is already here. I have this happy to reissue this back out to all council members, but this document exists. We
Could
just
you
lack
send that?
in, absolutely,
Awesome.
we lack
That'd be
in
great.
our community partners coming in. And from what I've heard, I did talk to a few churches, it's the staffing issue, is getting people to agree to sit and be in a place and provide this level of comfort for those in our community.
So can you give us a brief rundown of what that says, please?
Sure. So it says this agreement was made this day of 2024. I'm assuming these are signed each time an entity goes into contract with us. A nonprofit entity, the city and the recipient collectively referred to as the parties for the sole purpose of maintaining and providing a space at its facility to temporarily deal with the adverse health effects of inclement weather conditions.
Okay.
And in the terms of the agreement, the recipient shall provide an inclement weather facility as defined by the city at no cost to the citizens. Inclement weather facility shall be open to the public during the dates and times provided herein. Let's see. We are requiring them to be residents of the city of Cunova. And to just acknowledge that the provision of health service provided to health safety and welfare for the entire citizen of the city of Cunova. And we're also doing $30 per citizen per day. That is reimbursed to the entity that partners with us.
I would love to have a copy of that, and I can just write this off the list for tonight. Thank you.
Could you mention, Councilman Morgan, I know you said that you stated that document, but, who were some of our partners of nonprofit?
That's, no one actually stepped up to fill that.
Okay, I know the House of Hope was doing it at one point, and they no longer does it. I did reach out to churches. I called to City Hall to find out what type of plan we have for that, because I had a lot of phone calls. I reached out to churches. I reached out to Union, the surrounding churches in the area, and they said that they don't do it.
Were they unaware of this contract though?
I never shared a contract because I didn't know anything about that contract. But I did reach out to find out. I even talked to Reverend Edwards of the House of Hope, and he said that they used to do it, but they no longer participate with that now because of their funding. Yeah.
Well, I'm sending this out now. The council will have it before the end.
May I make a suggestion?
Mhm.
Perhaps we could share that with our local churches
Mhm.
and House of Hope and other nonprofit organizations, because they're not the only ones, and let them know that we do have this available in the event of another situation such as we had last weekend.
Because we do need a plan.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like we have
We
one.
have one, but no one is
So
executing.
nobody's taking care of it.
There you go.
Councilman Morgan, is this document new? And I believe that members of this council that sit around the board pretending that they don't know about this policy was present and voted on it. Another headline. Well, we should be serious about taking care of our people. And you propose the question, are we serious? Are we ready to move forward? But yet we still playing these headline games when just a couple weeks ago, you voted no, as Councilman Morgan to say, for a utility credit. Instead of being proactive, we'll still want to be reactive. And reactive catches us in some bad places that could be very detrimental to the citizen in the city playing reactive. This serious business around this table, people. This is serious business. Trying to make headlines, points, is not gonna move the city forward. Policy been in place. What we see around black folk freezing there. And I wonder how many churches were actually called. How many council members called and see? I mean, if you're coming up here looking for financial information, but ain't nobody came up here and say, what is the, do we have a policy already created? Did we go across the street and ask our neighboring church? Which, when I compare the neighboring church across the street church and its capacity, I think the food bank lies in that building as well too. This serious business. So are we ready? Yeah, I'm ready. I've been ready to move this city forward. But the question is, why are we gonna continue to sit here and play headline games? Because as the councilwoman said, these things are not new, they're just being brought up again. They're already been in place, they're being brought up again, and for whatever reason, I'm gonna leave that out there for whoever to imagine or to do or say whatever they want to say. A reason why these things are happening. But it's very clear. Just take a wild guess. It's a different person making them argument. That's it. But I stand in agreement with moving this city forward and to make sure that we're taking care of our people during the frozen and freezing months. Because I talk about due season, since we were kind of complaining on what the seasons are and the weather. The false reports. We hear that.
All right, any other discussion on that? Okay. All right, we're gonna move right along on the agenda, and we're going to go to our utility rates. And Councilwoman Brady, you can go ahead with that.
The 2024 audit, we had a special meeting a few weeks ago. And in the audit, it showed that the electric department has not shown, well, in the 2024 audit showed a decrease in net position for our electric department of $5.4 million. As a matter of fact, if you go back to the audits, we have not shown a positive change in net position since the year 2020. We lost 163,000 in 21, 857, 806, 22, 23 was 1.7 million, and 24, 5.4. These are losses in net position. You can get them from the city audits on the city webpage. Now, in the called meeting that we had to discuss the 24 audit, Mr. Nick Valenti, who did the audit for 2024, advised us to seek professional guidance. The city sought professional guidance. Electrical Cities of Georgia, which is a professional committee, and that is what they do, came to the study for the city of Camilla in 2023. They presented 2 scenarios in their study. And I'd like to say, before I tell you what the scenarios were, we did not adhere to either one specifically as they presented it. In the first scenario, the city would not raise rates, but this scenario included an additional 80 housing units and 300 apartments, which didn't materialize. Now, the findings, according to ECG, said that if you went by this scenario, that MCT, which is MEAG competitive trust funds, would be depleted by 2026, and a rate increase of 21.6% would be necessary to make up the difference. Now, on January 5th of 2026, that fund had a balance of $92,000. When they did their study, there was 7.6 million in it. Now, that is scenario one, which I have for each of you. And it's presented here. Scenario two. In the second, the ECG proposed a 5.5% rate adjustment and saving the yearly rebate beginning in the year 24. With that savings and rate increase at 5% and saving the refund, that would continue to 2028. And in that scenario, the city would begin operating in the black, which means we wouldn't be losing money in 27. And as an added bonus, could replenish the fund. And that is the other scenario that is here. Now, during this time, in the same time period of what they recommended, this is what our other power companies in this county were doing. Mitchell EMC, which is a nonprofit, serviced 7,996 customers, which is roughly 40% of our county. Since 23, their average bill has increased 12%. Georgia Power, which is a for-profit company, services 12,266 customers, which is 60% of our county. Since 2023, they have implemented a series of 6 rate hikes totaling 9.5%. So since the time of this study, when it was recommended that we go up 5.5%, EMC's gone up 12%, Georgia Power 9.5%. The city of Camilla has not raised their rates. Now, when this study was done, they compared the rates. Green is EMC, orange is Georgia Power, black is Camilla. We're lower everywhere. Plus, you can add 12 and 9.5%, so we're way lower right now, okay? And that is not only residential, but commercial and commercial large customers. We don't have many of those. But I have a copy for as many as they'll last. And before I finish, I just have one thing I want to show you. These 5 pennies, let's just say those are our customers right now. Remember what the audit said. Those dimes is the $5 million we lost last year. Well, not last year, because we hadn't gotten last year's audit. That's from 24. All right. I keep hearing be innovative. All right, I want to be innovative. And you know what? The 300 units and the 80 housing is back on the table. And that's awesome. But here's the rub. We put those back on the table and we keep the same prices. We're going to be another $1 million in debt. So I'm telling you, the auditor said it. The professional said it. The bank balance for MEAG said it. The pennies and the dimes say it. We have got to do something about our power rates, or we're gonna be in some serious trouble. And I yield the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Green. Is there any discussion?
I'm wondering who are we gonna be in debt to? Who are we currently have dealt with as it relates to utilities. This city generates our own utility, we make our own money. We're not taking out a loan from anyone to pay our bills. And in that same meeting that the councilwoman just mentioned, I think our chief financial officer also mentioned that we have not even touched that money to pay these utility bills, meaning the money that you all pay each month is taking care of everything. This is laws that is being announced and talked about. This has been investments. This number that folks keep zeroing in on, again, is the municipal competitive trust account, that flexible, that non-flexible power generating account, which, you know, through some research, we also saw back in 2010, you know, some folks around this council didn't have any issues with creating and opening an account for flexible purposes. But now all of a sudden, when folks are receiving investments in this community, it becomes an issue. Again, this is not a loss in a position. The city also was notified by that auditor that we have well over $70 million in our assets. So again, these headlines are just what they are. They are indeed headlines. That money, as we know, we talk about it almost every year now, I believe, has been spent on a very paid for and very beautiful new Boys and Girls Club and resource facility for this community. We've been taking care of the people that pay their bills every month, and honestly, folks who don't have the money to pay it through a utility credit, we've been assisting them. And we had a presentation almost a year ago where we were out giving an outline from Mayor Owens on how MEAG actually designated those funds to be used. They could very well be used for community development. And that's what we have used it for, and that's what we plan to continue to do as well. Now you have the floor for now.
Well, we don't generate our own power, we have to pay for it. We have to pay MEAG for the power that we buy,
And what
the
did,
power that we give to
and
customers.
what did our chief finance officer say at the last meeting about that very same topic?
Well, I know what the auditor says, and I know what the audit says.
What did the CFO say? Very
Well-
specifically about how we've been paying bills.
Well, we've been paying it with the MEAG money.
She said this past year, we did not use that money to pay our utility bill. That don't work.
Shirley, to your knowledge, in the last year and a half, have you had any problem with paying our bills?
I have not been made aware of any problems that we've had paying our bills. I'm pretty sure she would communicate that to me.
Thank you. But when I think about this, MEAG trust, as someone relate to it as a reserve, we have heard it so many times, reserve, reserve. Even the paper trying to manipulate and just tell you lies about a reserve. But you're conflating a reserve with a municipal trust. The city of Camilla has never had a designated reserve. Never. But to Council Morgan's point, I think it was around 2008, and I think a lot of people may not know this, sitting in the gallery, sitting at this table right now. Some of you may not know it. But the city of Camilla has not always had two accounts in the municipal trust, the flexible and the restricted. We have not always had that. Councilman Marie, it had, at one point, was restricted all. And what did we use restricted funds for?
To pay the bill to Plant Motor.
Electric. And that's the only thing it can be used for. I think it's good to ask Councilman Palmer, because it was in 2008 when he was second the motion to change this to a flexible account too. Because at some point then, they decided that we don't need all this restricting. There was a need for some flexibility. And see, I understand that the council back then did not look like the council currently, and did not do as much work as the 2-3 years ago council have been doing in the city of Columbia. When we talk about spending money, what some will call it, but we call it investments. See, I understand that. But see, somehow or another, he felt the need, or they felt the need, that we have a flexible account. And I wonder what they use the flexible account for. But I tell you, I wasn't present. Probably didn't think about being here. But there, one member on this council can tell you why. We can go even a step further. You talk about the resource center. That bill is paid for. It was paid for cash. We don't owe nobody. The gymnasium, Splosh is going to take care of that. There is no but. I ended with period. We're going to take care of our people. We're going to take care of the quality of life of the citizen of Camilla. But it's quite natural if you take something away from the Riyadh Trust, which we're paying the restricted our energy costs, it affects the overall budget. And so sure we're gonna see some changes because it's out there overall. So again, as Councilman Morgan said, these headlines, but we dealing with real life stuff. So I'm suggesting, I'm just gonna assume that we're suggesting that we raise rates on our citizens. And just a couple, last month, there was a councilman that said about SNAP program, we have a great SNAP program. But we had to send a $50 voucher to help out. Just a couple months ago. But here we are, I'm going to assume we're talking about raising rates. Since it was brought on this, and we got to do something about it, I assume that's what you're suggesting, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. But see, when I think about it, I think about 3 new businesses. Just open it up. Running a cooler, freezer, 24/7.
Forward includes that.
Retail. We can get to that, because you're right, that's the point. And that's when we talk about the restaurants. All that was not on that 2024, and which you're reference to the 2024.
Well, we haven't got
Budget.
2025.
Exactly. But here we are talking about rates. And again, I'm assuming you're talking about when you say we gotta do something, or we're gonna be broke, or we're gonna be able to do this. I mean, all that is opinionated because I haven't seen anything factual.
Your mouth, not mine. I did give facts.
And that's why I said I assume.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I assume from what you're stating is that you're suggesting that we don't do something. You know, and by means of do something, I think when it comes to my head, it just means that you're talking about we gotta raise some rates, we gotta generate some money for somewhere. And as I told you before, in the side conversation, because I have always told you
And we
that
can talk about it.
I don't just have
That's
side
fine.
conversation when we're not serious about the business that's on the table. We do that same conversation we have on side, we gotta be real and right here.
Absolutely.
And so I don't need the side conversation and we all in agreement, but we get here and it's something else. We don't need that. We need to be about the business.
But in the side conversation, I mentioned to you what you have already said, and you don't have to put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in
But
your
it
mouth.
is my opinion, Mr. Pollard, that we do need an increase in our utility rate.
Yeah, and see, and that's what I'm saying, we just got a brand new business, just opened the door today, and here we are gonna tell them, you just spent $1 million coming here. And now we gonna raise your rates. That's an appreciation for a new business just coming to our city.
But we have to.
That is what we're telling the people.
We have to pay.
That is what we're telling them. But then we got people on this council, I don't even think y'all pay the electric here. But we're asking the citizen of Camilla, and we're proposing raising race on the citizen that live there every day, that already struggle, and you don't even pay the race here? That's just disingenuous to suggest anything of that nature when we can't do it ourselves. If we're not doing it, we're asking the people to do it when they're already struggling.
So how do you propose to make?
By doing exactly what we've been doing. There were 3 new retail businesses. There were 2 restaurant businesses. Getting all behind investing instead of talking about spending. Investing in infrastructure.
So they're still paying that lower rate.
Flop we just had a presentation from the police department. Flop. Now that's the part I do agree with Councilman Ward. I do like that concept. 45,000 people within a month time came through our downtown. And how much did we capitalize on that? In a day span, over 3,000 people on one turn, on one street, off 19. How much of that did we capitalize on? But see, we still want to play these games and make headlines for the paper. But we don't want to be serious about the business that it takes to run this city and to move this city forward. It's always coming to the table with what we cannot do. But I challenge you to come to the table with what we can do. Stop coming to the table with opposition trying to find fault. But I challenge you to get there and do the work. Because the work is not easy. But appreciate the ones that have did that work. And for some of us that want to sit around here and keep on with the same old games, pin on you. That you are a great thing that happened to the city of Camilla. That same very place. Zaxby. How I got here? That land was through URA. And that's the same entity that y'all defunded. It's time out for games. Let's be real.
Playing games. I have the best interest in the city of Camilla, and I have the best interest, and I happen to listen to the professionals. All right?
But some of those things
The
you just-
professional auditor, the professional ECG company, and again, I'm not playing games. I'm not looking for headlines. I'm looking for what's best for the city. And I do take a little bit of offense to you say that I don't.
I ain't never said you did.
Okay.
I never said you did. You didn't.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move ahead. Thank you all for that.
She is looking 12 to 18 months down the road. And that's what the numbers are saying, what she's saying. Now you can, I have the floor, thank you. And I am telling you that that's what it says, and that's where we're going. If we don't take a look and make some changes.
Again, what numbers?
And I'd also add to that, what plans was the current council or the council before gonna do in these 10 to 18 months down the road where no investment was happening in these years of positive change from 2020 to whatever? That means that nothing's happening, no investments were being made in this community. So I do believe at some point, we still gonna meet at this point where we are today. Where I look at it through my lens, we've actually taken some steps to kind of get ahead of that. So to Councilman Palmer's point, what are you gonna do? You keep saying wait to 10, 8 months down the line, but the record shows that you had no plan. And when the plan is implemented, there's a problem with that plan. So I don't understand.
We reacted. That's what they plan on doing. Reacted to a problem, such as maybe the pump station that was felon. Yeah, be rehabbed, but don't put players and get.
Maybe making phone calls to friends at the Bush County Development Authority, and figuring out plans on how we can move this community forward, and tell them to stop taking out crazy lawsuits on folks, and not getting business done.
It is.
That's a step forward. For
Amen.
Okay, council, let's move forward on our agenda for tonight. We're gonna move to our next item. We're gonna look at the proclamation of Black History. We want to have this on the agenda for next week to be read. Could I get at least 3 council members who want to see this on the agenda? All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna move right along now to our next agenda item, discussion item rather. And it is the peculiar policy expenditure of the federal fund. And this is something that we normally do here. The purpose of this procurement policy is to establish a guideline for the procurement goods and service using federal awards, and in compliance with 2 CFR Part 20 Subpart D of the Uniform Administrative Requirement, Cost Principle, and Audit Requirement for the Federal Award, commonly referred to us as the Uniform Guidance, which is issued by the Office of Management and Budget, which is OMB. And this policy ensures the proper use of federal funds, promote competition, transparency, and cost effective while complying with federal and state and local laws. We want to get this, could I get at least 3 council members to have this on our agenda for next week?
Is this the document that was requested?
Yes.
Yeah, clear one to find it, and I sent it.
Yeah, I'm looking it up there.
And this is the document, one of the findings of our audit, and we are going to execute this by taking care of that. Okay, thank you, council. We'll have that on our next, on Monday night's agenda. Going now to discussion items number 7, the Municipal Gas Authority all-take trade confirmation. As you look in your package, you do see that the month of February to December 2026 date, 1/5/26, February to December 2026 date, 1/9/2026, February to December 2026, and that date is dated 1/15/2026. And this is something that we normally do on a regular basis, so we want to push this to our as an action item for next Monday. Could I get 3 council members to see that on the council meeting? All right, thank you, council. Also, our next discussion item is Amelia chapter number 14, adopting the street request. And Luke, I'm going to ask you to kind of elaborate a little bit on that.
So, really, chapter number 15, they contacted me, they want to adopt a street, North Hardy Street, where it meets Oakland all the way to Beacon. So kind of the business side of North Hardy Street. Their adoption would include cleaning litter off that street periodically throughout the duration of the street adoption.
Okay. All right, thank you. Could I have 3 council members to would like to see that on the agenda? All right, that will be on our agenda for next Monday.
Would it be in legal standards or anything we need to cover during this adoption?
What do you mean?
Would there be any legal reason why we cannot do it, any legal standards that prevent these types of things?
It's just an agreement for them to do some type of work, because for the adoption, we usually put a sign up. The sign's gonna cost money, so there has to be some payback of that, which would be the cleanup of the litter. And I mean, if the cleanup stops, which we used to have adopted streets where there's no effort on the end of the street. There was no litter cleanup, no mower maintenance from the adopted parties. But there also has to be for us to put a sign out and say they're not us to pay for that sign. There's got to be some type of agreement that we make.
And I guess that would be, and that's the thing, I guess they install agreement with the organization in the city, of that nature or something, because we do have private homes and businesses, and the homes on the street. Private property, and everything. I just want to make sure that the city is not, we're not communicating to private homes, the citizens that we're taking care of. This, replacing the city for doing something, for taking care of the streets. Just want to make sure.
It'll be more of a supplemental effort for them. The city will take care of the right of way. They're playing litter on the right of way and in the street. They're not advanced on people's private property. But the city is still going to do all lawn maintenance in that area. And while we do that, we'll also do that there.
I'm talking agreement, just want to make sure that it's clear understanding of it.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, we're gonna move now to our final discussion item tonight, and we know that we did have our engineer, Chad Griffin, was here tonight to explain this process here. This is a selection of CDBG grant administrative and engineering consultant, Sunbelt Consulting, Grant Administration, Stillwater's Engineering. I get at least 3 council members to want to see this on the agenda for Monday, so we can take action on what he's talking about tonight. All right.
I know we have passed it, but we do have a meeting chapter number 14 in our gallery. Just want to make sure we're not overlooking them, and if they have anything they want to speak to the council about.
Are you all good? Okay, they're good, they're good. All right. All right, this will conclude our discussion items for tonight. Is there any other discussion by any council members? First of all, I'm going to start with Councilwoman Durant.
No, I do not. Thank you.
Madam Attorney, do you have anything you want to say? Okay, all right. Councilman Ward.
Yes, sir. I know last year, we talked about a transit plan in this community. So just want to share that the Southern Regional Commission is doing a transit survey. I think that data will be helpful for both us and them as we continue making those decisions. So I just want to share that out. I'll be sending that out and just encourage council and community to engage that and make sure that the folks participate in it. When we're talking about growing economic development, these new entities on the highway in the community, like that 45,000 traffic that was mentioned today, that is us growing and building a T-Floss account. We're going to need some projects to utilize that funding for. So just make sure folks are engaged in that survey.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Collins, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I would just like to say that, I agree with Azalea. We need to at least think about our budget going forward. And I hope our new businesses do raise enough money where we don't have to raise anything, but to say for sure that we cannot do it, we're not looking at it, that's kind of sticking your head in the sand. We need to think about it. And our financial position is going down. And I just hope we can have a little civil discourse in the future about it. If we have to do it, we're gonna have to do it. It's a very unpopular thing, and I realize that. But I just hope we can talk about it in the future, if need be. We still, these businesses don't just bring in a lot of money immediately. It takes time. We just need to see about that. I don't want us to keep going the wrong way financially as a city.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Councilman Paul.
And again, we keep hearing the same old thing with no real paperwork behind it. That we are going in debt, we are going down, and we're just all over the place. We're just doomed to fail. But yet, I just asked the question, are we not able to pay our bills? And who would better know that than the day-to-day operation, Michelle Ford? And she simply said, out of her mouth, to her knowledge, that is an end. But what I do recall the audience saying is that we was in a very good financial state. And put it in writing. That we're in a very good financial state, by no means. And I believe we go a little step further. One of the local papers said, don't get it wrong, in a good space, they're not financially broke. And you can find that in the editorial part. I agree. We are not. But those investments we make no apology for them. But we believe in working. We believe in being visionaries. Our hope that in the near future, the very near future, that same entity that gave the property to Zasper, that same entity that was defunded, those funds can go back and they can start meeting. Because that is the very entity that was helping move this city forward. And for whatever reason, it stopped. And there is so big of a problem now. But there was a problem for you to defund it and not know all the ins and outs, but was just simply told lies. Abundance that was given. Y'all made it for a very specific job. Taking the load off our city government, staff, doing great things. For whatever reason, we decided to defund it. I don't know why. We would want to when it's moving this city forward. I yield.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Parker, you have anything?
Not at this time.
All right. Once again, council, appreciate you for being here. Thank you, citizens, for being in the gallery, and also thank you all that are watching online. At this time, could I get a motion to adjourn our meeting? All right, meeting has been adjourned. Thank you.
How you doing?